Okay, we got 6 o'clock. We're going to do as we always do. We're going to stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Alderman Betts if he'll lead us in prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are truly grateful for you being our God. And Lord, we are truly grateful for the last couple of days that you have put your hands of protection around this city, and you have protected us. Lord, thank you for what you did for us here. And Lord, we know that because we fared so well, there are many other people who have suffered. And we pray, Lord, that you would be with them. I pray, Lord, you be with families as they are displaced. Pray, Lord, that you be with workers as they work hard to restore the energy and the things that are needed for people to return to their homes. Again, Lord, we thank you for being our God. Thank you for what you do for us. I pray, Lord, that you bless our time of information tonight, for we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Let's have a roll call.
Town of Vidalia Board of Aldermen roll call for the special meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderwoman Denby.
Here.
Alderman Gardner. Let the record reflect that Alderman Gardner is absent at this time. Alderman Probst.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Mayor, let the record show that a quorum of the board is present and accounted for.
All right, thank you. First thing on our agenda is a board vote to enter into public hearing to discuss proposed projects and receive public input concerning possible alternative uses of surplus hydroelectric royalties. Do I hear a motion?
Make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Betts. Second by Alderman Denby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're in the public hearing to discuss these proposed projects. In the past, I would like to go ahead before we get too far into it. And one of the things that the actual ordinance says is these meetings, that we would have a meeting to discuss, the possibility of some, the uses of this. And it says that the mayor and board of aldermen shall annually compile a schedule of projects on which the surplus revenues are proposed to be expended. A summary of these projects shall be published and the public notified that details are available for public inspection, and at the same time a minimum of 2 public hearings shall be called to discuss the proposed projects and receive public input concerning possible alternative uses of surplus revenues. So, having said that, we want to follow ordinance, and when we finally come up with what ordinances we want to do, we feel like it's better for us to go ahead and get public input on the front end instead of waiting and do all the work and then get into it and not have, any kind of support on these things. So we will still have more meetings, but what those lists will be compiled of is conversations with council and yourselves and me, and we us work together to come up with some things that's going to really make Vidalia special. So that being said, I know I will open the floor from the public, and y'all can, recommend or suggest some projects and things to do. So, Ms. Galloway, Ms. Cindy Galloway, could you come to the microphone?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here to represent the Vidalia Garden Club, and also I'm a member of the Vidalia Beautification Committee, and we have worked together to formulate several projects, but the one that I'd like to direct your attention to right now is the landscape plan that I've issued you all a copy of.
I do want to make, I haven't seen this yet or know what I'll put together, but, okay. So I'm seeing this for my first time too, okay. So this is.
And this is just a part of what we've all worked on. So this is one of the biggest parts of what we worked on. I got with Brian Upton of Upton's Nursery, and he uses Rory Wagoner, a landscape architect, to do the schematics and the drawings. As you can see, I'll just summarize it briefly for you. The area, the three main areas that made the landscape plan are for the areas at the bottom of the levee where the existing riverfront signs are located, and that's on page 2.
Is this drawing, I mean, these?
Yes. Now, the top page is a enlargement of the left side of page 2. The top page is enlarged to show you the plant schedule, and the schematic of the convention center is at the bottom of that first page. So he did the convention center, where the existing riverfront signs are located on page 2, and the area of around the splash pad is on page 2. So those 3 areas that encompass the main part of the riverfront, as you first come down on the riverfront, they're the first things you see. So that's the area that we wanted to concentrate on, was the first thing that you see when you come onto the riverfront. If you'll note, all planting beds include pine straw mulch, and all irrigation will be modified to provide 100% coverage. Now, we know the town has repaired the existing irrigation system, and if needed, it will be added to make sure that it covers 100% of the plantings. Then some existing shrubs will remain and be pruned back. The borders, of course, will need reshaping. The black plastic edging needs to be replaced with stone edging. Peach drift roses will be used because they are slow growers. They don't require pruning. And they will also be the same rows that we use at the fountain at the foot of the bridge. Will bring continuity to the plan. Now, there's some other things you can look at, but the total cost just for this landscaping is $35,000. Any questions on that?
I can tell you that I personally am looking forward to something like this. Right now, it's horrible, our flower beds, and that whole area needs to be updated, and I think this is going to be really something special that we can be proud of, instead of, because until I really, I look at the greenery of how well we maintain the riverfront, and we maintain it wonderfully.
Yeah.
But as far as what we have, as far as the aesthetic beauty of it,
Yeah.
we have a lot to be desired there.
Yeah.
And I think this is a first step to making it very special.
Yeah.
And Cindy, you want to tell them why you're doing this, is what you have, the Garden Club, it's Garden Club National, or is it
Yes,
state?
well, no, it'll be the state garden club, the Louisiana Federation of Garden Clubs for the state. Will be having their annual convention in Vidalia in 2023, and we want to put our best foot forward. This is the whole state looking at us, and so this will be a great thing for Vidalia. As you can see, they have rearranged some of the beds that just have dirt. He's gonna cut it down, put sod. Everything is included. The pine straw mulch, everything. The dirt will have to be redone and added to. So all of that is included in this plan. Now, Ellen Yates is the president of the Vidalia Beautification Committee, and we have worked together on some other projects that I'd like for her to tell you about to go with this one.
We really enjoy working together. We have a good rapport, and I think with the two clubs together, we're stronger and more powerful, and just we'll get more done. Everybody has a handout. I briefly went over some of the things that we want to do this year, and then at the very end, there are some extended projects that we would like to use the hydro money for to beautify Vidalia. But the first thing The Vidalia Beautification Committee has taken on the old historic courthouse Christmas project. And we have a good bit of decorations, but we'd like to finalize it this year by adding icicle lights to 6 of the oak trees at the courthouse. If you've been over to Natchez, at the Natchez City Park, the old Natchez City Park, it's fabulous. They have huge oak trees there, and the icicle lights are in the trees, and it's just grand. It's just beautiful at Christmas time. We made a trip over there, and just so happened that the city workers were working on the lights, and we got the information on what kind of lights to order. And so I called the company, and these are the figures that we came up with. You can read it or I can explain it, but they will only be turned on at Christmas, and they will have, they'll be on a timer, and the cost are $25. The more you order, the cheaper they are, and the total came to $2,515, and that's for the 6 trees in the front. We're not going to load them down with lights. We don't want it to be gaudy, but we do want to put about 5 of the huge oak trees, the limbs that come way out, and we want to put them on just the very bottom of the limb, and they're easy to attach because they just attach them with these big zip ties. They last, they're commercial. If one light goes out, you just pull that little light out and replace it. So anyway, that's what we would like to add to the courthouse this year. We have to have electricity. We have to have additional electricity for this project. So I got in touch with 3 different electrical companies, and I have the proposals. I can get them typed out, printed out for y'all. But I went with the least expensive, which was ABC Electric. And their proposal to put in 6 plugs, that's at the end of 6 of the oak trees, and additional power would be $5,650. But they're going to go underground, so there won't be any,
This is a work just for the wiring and all to provide it, not the cost of electricity itself. This is just
This is just to hook the lights up, yeah. But they're LED, so Natchez says they don't pull much power.
It doesn't.
At all. So this, they're going to have to put some type of box out there, and then the 6 plug-ins are going to go behind each oak tree, and they'll be up so that the mowers won't hit them. Jeremy really helped us out a lot with that. He told us, exactly where to put them and what to do. So, but this would finalize the courthouse partly, except for the extended plan that we have. Now, we started with a small flower bed at the old courthouse, but you can really see that flower bed when you come off the bridge, and there it needs to be bigger. So we asked Brian Upton to extend it and make it bigger and more showy and colorful. So that price, I think I put on here.
$3,000.
Yeah, $3,000 around. That's approximate, but it won't be any more than that. But it'll have its own watering system, and I think it'll be well worth the money because it's a really good area to see in Vidalia as you come off the bridge. We would also like to, and we talked about this, the Garden Club and the Vidalia Beautification Club would like to place 2 to 4 self-watering pots in between some of the flagpoles there, and have them with plants and flowers all year long. And we would take care of that spot. The Garden Club and the Beautification Committee would take care of those. The cost of these pots are $500 a piece, but they are self-watering, and you don't have to water them but every 2 weeks. And So that would be, if we decide on 2, that would be $1,000. If we decide on 4, that would be $2,000. We also talked about a large American flag for the flagpole. You know, Winsboro has a huge flag there. That thing is, I don't know how big it is.
Is there a pole existing there that?
Yeah, it's
There is
a
that can handle that flag?
that the concrete pillow, thank you, pillow is there. It has the flagpole on it. Now, I don't know what size flag it'd hold. Would have to look into that.
Because that would take a substantial pole to hold that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of size flag. I mean, that was.
Right.
But you're right.
This just something
Sure,
that we
sure.
added to look into if that was agreed to do.
Okay.
Then there's the Carter Street project, which is the biggest project. And we'd like to place self-watering pots in certain areas on Carter Street along with self-watering hanging basket at each traffic light. I know that's going to be a problem hanging them on poles, but we thought that we could get our own poles and hang them, have the double hanging pots on each side and put the poles at places to where they would be visible but not, you know, illegal as far as electrical companies or, you know, we want to stay true. We don't want to do anything illegal. But that is that's just an idea. And then there's other pots that are self-watering we thought we'd like to put out through town. The project summary is for the icicle lights, $2,515. And then the ABC electric is $5,650. The courthouse pots are $2,000. The courthouse American flag, $1,269.25. The Carter Street self-watering pots, $13,002. But then that's including about 15 pots placed throughout town in specific areas that you know, we would take care of. Then we've got the courthouse flower bed, and that total is $27,460.25. That's what we would like to do, what we have time to do. Some of the things, not all of the things, but have time to do this year. We really have a lot of ideas to beautify Vidalia, and they're listed on the last page, and I didn't go into detail about them because there's a lot to it, and I think we need a special meeting for this to explain everything, because what we were talking about is making a beautiful spot to drive to the riverfront to view the lights. So what we thought was to make the courthouse square a place to enter the riverfront. In other words, we would like to decorate the back of it with icicle lights. We would like to put light poles on each side of the street in a square and hang lights from them as you drive. It would be across the street. It would be from pole to pole. You really need a picture to see. It's hard for me to explain it, but it would be a beautiful entry, and you would go around the courthouse and follow that street all the way on to the riverfront to the levee. But we would place icicle lights in some trees. We would place these tall lights on each side of the road, and have maybe garland right when you enter, like before you enter the levee. We could have 2 big lights, and we talked to the people, from, that have the poles, and they're getting us a price on those. But this is something really big. I mean, it really is. If you want to really make Vidalia beautiful at Christmas, this is the way to do it, as far as leading you to the riverfront. And there are different ideas we can do along the way to lead you to the riverfront. So that's a big project we have on here. There's a lot of things involved, but we'll just have to, get together and talk about them and see if y'all want to do these things. It's not going to be done overnight. It'll take, several years to do it, but, oh, yeah. Okay, the welcome signs. We talked about this, Cindy and I, the Garden Club and the Beautification Committee, and we talked about maybe doing a welcome to Vidalia sign that looks sort of like the courthouse sign. One, but bigger. One when you come off the bridge and then one at the high school. And so we just put in a price of $10,000 for that. I don't even know where I have that. Oh, I see it.
You think you can get that done with that? Is that for both?
We're guessing. We don't really know because it would be brick. And now we have all different kind of designs, that can be shown. But we would have to get an estimate for that. We just put in,
20,000.
it should be
It says
20,000.
20,000.
20,000, 10,000 apiece.
Okay.
But I
That
have-
sounds more, because.
Yeah, yeah.
The reason why I said
Yeah.
that, we're looking at, we have 2 lift stations, one as soon as you come off the bridge right there by Johnny Mays.
Right.
You'll see that lift station, it's very unsightly.
Yeah.
And we're getting some decorative cinder blocks to put around that.
That'll be nice.
And that's going to cost, we have some cinder block that's left and it's decorative that went to the convention center.
That'll be great, yeah.
And we're getting those pretty cheap, and we're gonna be able to save a lot of money, but it's gonna probably only cost around $4,000 to hide that, that lift station that looks so
Yeah.
bad now. And that's the first thing you see when you come off the bridge, is that lift station right there, so.
Right.
We're gonna do that there, and also there's a lift station, I think, if you turn on Martin Luther King, they're going down in District 1, there's one on the right there, I think we're gonna do as well,
Mm-hmm.
to make that look nicer through there, so.
Okay. I could go over this briefly. The icicle lights behind the courthouse, on light poles around the courthouse square, and trees along the path to the riverfront. This is just, we don't have a downtown in Vidalia. And we want to pull people off of the highway to the riverfront. So we were thinking if we made the courthouse square look fabulous, and do the stringed lights across the streets and go all the way in front of the Hydro building and then go up straight on to the riverfront. We could put little things along the way to direct you there to make it pretty.
Okay.
Okay, so all that's added in. Also, you have to have electricity for the back of the courthouse. That's not added in for this year. That would be an extended project. We do want to get, well, I've got the courthouse pots, I've got large courthouse American flag, Carter Street self-watering pots. Now that includes probably around 15 pots, and they're $500 a piece.
Now this overlaps, don't it? I mean, this got,
It does, and I want to explain that.
Okay.
You subtract everything I have on the first 2 pages from this.
Okay.
It does not go over the $200,000 that we're asking for.
Okay.
To beautify everything, like I say, this is an extended project, but we need the money to do this to make it look beautiful, because, they're doing movies in Natchez, the Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
And, we're right by them, so we have that beautiful riverfront, so we want to show it off, of course. Let's see what else. These light poles are 15 feet tall, and they're about $1,200 a piece. But that's really not a lot. Do y'all understand like what I'm talking about? Putting one on each side of the street, around the courthouse. There would be like 3. I didn't really come prepared to explain all this, but but since I'm standing here, if y'all want me to hush, I'll go sit down.
no.
But anyway, I want you to know that's what that's for. They're aluminum. They're painted black. They're beautiful. You just put them in with concrete. But it would give us a place to string garland or lights across that square around the courthouse, if y'all can picture that. And then go on down and even continue with the light poles down to, where did we say stop? Just all the way down. Yeah, we had 30 light poles on here. I mean, it's a thought.
Okay. No, I mean, hey, I'm all for making this
Okay.
I really am, so.
So let's see if I've covered everything. We do need flower box. For the flower box, we need potting soil and flowers, you know. We also talked about having an artist do botanical art drawing on the all of the utility boxes. This is something they're doing in other towns, and it's very, very pretty.
There's like 5 or 6 or 7 maybe utility boxes just in this campus right here.
Yeah.
That could have beautiful botanical murals painted on them. That would be so attractive as opposed to a box.
We talked about Riverwalk, the sidewalk banners and signs. You know, there are a lot of places for those signs there that we could do. And then going up the levee, we need to replace all those. We added about everything we could think of in here because we wanted to, you know, let everybody know that we are interested, we are involved, we want it to be beautiful. And since we do have this money, we want to use it to make our town beautiful. Oh, there's one more thing. You know, Mike is busy making all these things, and they're beautiful. And if we do expand the riverfront more like we want to, we don't really have a good place to store them. And I was by there the other day, and he's made a lot of new things which are really pretty, but he's got them laid up and they stick together, so he has to pull them apart and then repaint them. You know, it's kind of a bad situation. But
We really need to have and we've talked about it, all the departments having a large storage area for things like that would be
Okay.
departmentalized, that would be divided, you know, for example, whether it's putting transformers out of the weather and it'd be a utility storage house, the street and sanitation would have a place to put barricades and things. I mean, whatever it
Yeah.
might be, signs and.
Yeah.
We're talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about, you know, just a location, but yeah, that's something that we do.
something that we need to, if he continues to make these, we need
And who
good
knows,
storage.
we might can discuss maybe just doing coming up with something this year. I don't know, just.
Okay.
We'll let the aldermen talk about it and see.
Sure.
Might be something they want to
And
do.
I just wanted to mention that, and we put 10,000. I don't have no idea how much of.
It would be more than 10,000.
Okay. So all of these figures are estimated, and we just wanted to give you a figure of $193,300, and that is just a ballpark figure, but I doubt if it would go over that because we figured extra for things. But that's how much money we were thinking, $200,000 to beautify Vidalia and finish it.
Okay.
So I hope I haven't talked too long, but I was.
Any questions from council?
I'm trying to
Have you
explain.
got a do this first?
Yes, we do have a do this first.
Okay, what is your?
The do this first, good question, is to go ahead and order the icicle lights and have them put up and do the electricity on the courthouse. I've already talked to Sandy at the police jury, and she okayed it. I've written a letter, and they okayed it for us to go ahead and add that electricity there for the icicle lights. We would like to do that, and we would like to do the flower bed, which we want to make, you know, bigger and prettier. So those really are the main two things we'd like to do this year. This other stuff is to be talked about, you know, and gone into great detail about, and because I know if you don't see a picture of it, it's kind of hard to visualize.
Well, I know everything y'all done to this point has been beautiful, and I really appreciate that. I hope, it's my prayer that we do this, because it is. I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag on another thing. I rode around with our state representative, Travis Johnson, last week or week before on a couple of things going on. And y'all know the area under the bridge, the green area on the
Yeah.
Vidalia side, that's going to be the starting point for the bike trail. That's
Awesome.
And Ken Free with the DOT was on the phone with us, And that's basically gonna be redesigned all up under there and maybe be a little park up under the bridge.
Oh, wonderful.
So, and it's gonna start there and go down Wilson, and of course, the state's gonna pay for all this. But it's just gonna start in Vidalia, so.
Wonderful.
And I can picture a lot of that being a real nice area up under those bridges, and when people come off, we don't want them to
Yeah.
have wrecks or anything, but
Right.
for people to get and start with a bike trail, could be another little park area to go to.
Love it.
So-
Another thing, I'd like to talk about just a little bit, and then I'll sit down. The gazebo. We would like to decorate the gazebo in beautiful icicle lights also, and like kind of have a little idea that we could maybe have a children's train that goes around it, you know, for the children, just to ride for free.
Well, the council was good enough to agree for us to enter into agreement, a multi-use with the doctors on using that.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, we met today and council was here. You know, we discussed some more of the scope of this, of the use, and that's being worked on now.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll have it signed.
Okay.
Hopefully before too long, as
Okay.
well as the other things that we talked about and council has approved, so.
Well, I hope I've made myself a little bit clear. I know it's monumental thinking about all this, but if we just do little by little, I know you can't do it overnight, but we would like to do the icicle lights and the flower bed and pots, or a couple of pots, or not yet. We can even wait and do that in the spring.
I'd like to hear what some of the council thinks about this
Yeah,
project.
y'all have any questions? Do you want me to answer any questions, or?
I was just gonna say,
Does it-
I've been by your house and inside your house, and I trust you 100%. Any design.
Well, thank you so much, Brent. That's so sweet. Well, that's kind of my hobby and my passion. And Cindy and I both have that passion for Vidalia, and we will do anything we have to do. And like I say, all of these ideas we share. We don't take credit for every one of them. We just want to do it for the town.
And I appreciate that. That's
You're
the
welcome.
main thing.
That's the main thing. It's not for anybody's glory, but for Vidalia.
Absolutely, so.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm a member of the beautification committee, so you know that.
Yes, I do know that. And we're so glad to have you. Yes.
So.
Any other questions?
Anybody else got any questions? Yep, yeah. Hey.
Somebody called me today to say that we had an entry that we ought to use.
Yes.
The one column left from the old bridge. And somebody said, have you seen the thing at St. Francisville? Now, the old French people call it a pigeonniere.
Right.
But I don't know the exact wording when they call it. But in New Roads, they have at Parlange Plantation a pigeonniere that looks something like that. But when you come off that bridge, you see this.
Oh, yes.
And that brick could be used in some kind of way.
I totally agree.
Now, the lady asked me not to tell her name. She
Oh.
doesn't even live in Vidalia, but she said, it is a monument from the first bridge. And if there was something, I'm not saying what to do with it. I'm
Well,
saying
It needs to be
do
fixed.
something.
Yes,
with that.
we have that on one of our adopt-a spots, but that is a very important landmark, and that should really be looked at and, you know, develop a good idea. And we want townspeople to tell us what they like. So that's a wonderful idea.
Ms. Corrine, you're talking about somehow enhancing it, maybe with lights and stuff of that nature, or?
Yeah, you know.
That'd be
Yes, we
pretty.
want to do a flower bed there for sure, but then at Christmas yeah, I'd like to
It
see
is
it. We
pretty.
would love to see pictures. If anybody has pictures that they want to show us. Yeah, yeah, but I'm just saying that I'll freely give my number out, and I'm sure that Cindy will give her cell phone number out. If y'all have any ideas, please let us know, because we're ready to get started, and we
Well,
want.
what I would like to do is for y'all to ask for an amount, maybe a budget of this money, and as y'all do these projects, you know, if the council would approve it, I'm just thinking out loud now, I haven't,
Yeah.
you know, is, ask for, monies to be set aside for these projects. Because just like the playground, we have $150,000 designated for the playground. It's not been built yet. We have $1.2 million for our pumping station. It's not been built yet. These things are going to take time, but some of the stuff can be done immediate. But what I'm saying is, if you have that money earmarked for that as you complete those, you don't have to come back if you get it approved. That way, as you get them approved, you come, hey, we've completed it. Here's what we spent. Here's how we spent it, and let's get funding on it. I think that would be a way to do that.
Yeah.
And speaking of the playground, and because I want everybody to understand where we're at, $150,000 for the playground is to me not going to be enough. I know people want to see maybe a little splash pad, something similar to what's in Gina. Well, Brian Hammond was the engineer on that project in Gina, and it was $700,000 or $800,000. So, do we want to revisit that, use that 150, and also decide? To me, I don't think it should go on the riverfront where it could ever be risk of being, compromised with a flood. We don't want to do that. I think we need to find somewhere in town for it. And I would hope maybe working with you ladies, we can come up and maybe expound on that situation or what we need. I've been talking to some members of the school board and the rec board about putting something at the lower elementary that would make sense for a playground, that the kids there could have activity areas, have actual, what am I trying to say? I can't even think of the word. It's the pavilions, where you could have 4 pavilions around it where different families can have parties, be out and have cooking areas, electricity supplied, and just have reunions, whatever it might be, and come there. And also have playgrounds, a section for handicapped children. They make swings now for kids in wheelchairs. They safely get in a swing. They can be swung and never have to get out of their wheelchair. There's a lot of that kind of stuff I think that would be important to do. And I don't have any problem. I'm all for the playground. I just think I'd like to incorporate some help between the school board and the rec board and make it really big. Otherwise, it's going to be, and $150,000 will make a really nice playground like the ones over here on the rec board. And I think that one was $125,000 maybe. I'm not sure of that. Please don't hold me to that. But so you can kind of see, and if everybody would want to just go ahead and do that, we can go ahead and just find a place to put it and put something similar to that. I have no problem with that. But I'd like to see us really, really get it right.
Yeah.
And also sharing costs in location and ground with rec board and school board.
Right.
That's my thoughts on it. So the pumping station, the 1.2 million funds became available through 2 different venues, and rather than spend our money, we'd rather get the money from Louisiana DOT. We're supposed to know in October now. We've had 2 applications for different funding for that, and it looks really good for this other through the state for the pumping station. So we'll save that money. But there's plenty of money in these hydro monies to do what y'all want to do.
Okay.
So.
Good. Oh, yes, and look, if I fail to mention something, please let me know.
One of the
Yeah, this
first
is-
things that you asked, John, would be,
Yeah, the River Park Flower Beds project would be 35,000.
See, because there's some other things we're going to do. There's monies right now in our convention center fund that we can get from occupancy tax. And we usually get with the Riverfront Authority to get it approved, but we really need to do a repaint down there. And I'm wanting to get that done, especially with American Cruise Lines finalizing everything with them. They're going to start, hopefully this year, you'll see them starting and us trying to get that project completed and, redo the riverfront, pressure wash it, do these additions to our flower beds, and do these other things. And I think it's going to really be something
Well, we were
special.
trying to think of everything we could think of that, would beautify our town and last for a long time.
Right.
So if there's not any
But
more
I think
questions,
the
I'll sit
monies
down.
that y'all have here certainly ought to be something that they should strongly consider. I hope they
Right.
do it. I hope they do.
And we can go into more detail about this other page,
Well,
the
we-
extended
we've got
town
We've got
project.
another meeting Thursday, y'all.
Okay,
come
we
back to
can
that,
talk
please.
more about that, because I'd like to kind of show y'all pictures and kind of
If
put
you-
it in
if
your
you-
mind what it would look like.
If you could pull that together, that'd be great. We'll get AJ or Bobby and them to get it. where we can
Okay,
look at
we
it.
will. We'll have some drawings.
Okay.
But thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much. That's gonna be fun. That's exciting.
Question, you were talking about the, welcome signs. Were you just gonna put the one at the high school, because it's already there, or was that put, do you think maybe that was put there
We're
when that was
wanting
the city
to,
limits, and now it should be moved?
Redo both signs, just take that completely down.
But should it be moved to the city limits to welcome people in? Is our city limit like right around here somewhere? You know, I don't know the spot, but they're kinda in the middle of town.
It's, Darla, the only problem we have there is that property there, the town really can use, because I guess it's public property. You get further coming into the city limits of town, that's privately owned unless, I don't know, we'd have to purchase.
And it's set up, and I mean, even though it is in the middle of town, it's right there by that light, and you're sitting there and you can see it.
Yeah.
As if you're flying, driving slowly.
Right.
I think we were going to have a special meeting for that, weren't we? Like to do that, to talk about the design.
Okay. Sounds good.
But that's it.
All right. Anybody else? Ricky?
Well, as a past beautification committee president or chairman, I want to thank y'all. There were some great ideas, and I wish y'all the best of luck. And thank you for your time and effort that you're spending working, beautifying our city. It goes on. It's not going unnoticed. Thank you again. I'm going to vote that we double your salary too. So, but now. My idea is, has to do a little bit, or can I ask first, how much money are we talking about this year? It's 50% of,
Okay. This year, of course, this next council meeting will be this coming Tuesday. Right now, the rebate that we're going to be, I'm going to be asking for to be approved by council is around 1.7 million. So
would that be 1.7 for the projects as well, or?
Well, yes, 1.7 for the projects, and also, I mean,
1.7 for the
if you
rebate?
subtract, what we have right now, Ricky, that's available for projects is, after you take off, if we leave the 1.2 million and the 150,000 in, which we pre-approved already, you'd have 1,016,597, and this year, if you put the other 1.7 in there, if the equal match, you'd be looking at 2.7 million,
That's great, yeah.
so.
Yeah, this was actually a year I've been looking forward to for the city. The hydro royalties are.
No, next year is the one.
Well, it goes into effect 21, we won't see it until
Right,
next year.
22.
Yeah, so that's great. We're sitting in a great position. I don't know if y'all are aware of it.
Yeah.
But my idea has to do with connectivity, connecting neighborhoods together and connecting people and enhancing social interaction between our communities here. It has to do with physical fitness, people getting outside and exercising, walking, bicycling, running. It has to do with curb appeal. People riding through our city can look out and say, wow, look at this. This is really nice what I'm seeing as I ride through Vidalia. It's going to enhance our quality of life here too. And it has a means for connecting our two most precious and our best assets, which is the recreation facility here and our riverfront. I just would like to see them somehow connected where the children in our community can get from one to the other without having to danger themselves on the highway, So my idea has to go along with playgrounds, because that keeps coming around. I hear a lot of chatter about playgrounds, one in possibly every neighborhood, and that's a great idea. But I was thinking, there's a vacant lot right on Carter Street, right next to Concordia Lumber. I don't know if you're aware. It's across the old railroad bed. It's been vacant for years. It was an old house that sat there. It's gone now.
That one had the shelter on it?
And it still
Yeah.
has a storm
Yeah.
shelter or a bomb shelter there. It's been for sale for, I don't know how many years. If the city could buy that and enhance it, possibly put your playground, put your splash pad, and then it would be very easy to take asphalt and just go on top of that railroad bed straight to the riverfront. I mean, your foundation's already there, so you're just talking about laying some asphalt, putting up some lighting down through there maybe, just enhance people, get them to get out, have entrances coming up to this new walking trail bike path from Tacony, have an entrance from Tacony, entrance from South Spruce Street, down that area, entrance from Palm Street. You can get up on this trail and go straight to the riverfront. And this would also coincide with Travis Johnson's bicycle trail. If it starts on the riverfront, this could actually be a trailhead, maybe, possibly. But you could connect to that, and then off you're going on a bicycle trail.
It's gonna go by that railroad. I mean, it's gonna go by the entrance to the RV park and the
Right,
railroad.
you'd have to utilize that entrance to the RV park. Go right up, you're on top of the levee, and then you're not far
Well,
from
they're
it.
gonna put the bike trail on Martin
top.
Luther King,
Yeah.
that going through there. They're gonna have the bike trail over.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better. I didn't
So-
realize. But it's kind of what I had in mind. There's a lot of young families with kids that are wishing they had playgrounds. I hear it a lot and not just my family, but my family's kids and friends. So I really think playgrounds, I'm glad to hear that you are working on one. Have you sought a location for it, or where was that
Well,
going to be?
like I said earlier, the ones I'd like to see the one with the scope of it, we be down on where there used to be those other ballparks across from the old ballparks, where, on the school grounds there.
Yeah.
That big old area there. The only, when you talk about that area where you're talking about, that's a great location. The only thing is, if you had very much activity, I don't know what the parking would be there.
Yeah.
That's the only, my initial thought that I'm thinking. Out there, you have lights, kind of already, maybe, with those ballpark lights that are there that can be repositioned to light it.
Yeah.
Make those LED lights and change that. You'd have that available. You save that expense. But you'd also have, adequate parking for sure. Yeah, that's a big old field right there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to keep cutting it. So
At the Mandeville Bike Trail, 23 miles goes, trailhead is in Mandeville. Right there, they'll have a farmer's market there every Saturday at the trailhead, the bike trailhead. They'll have different shops that set up permanent businesses, like one's a bicycle rental place, a bicycle repair shop. That's going to be needed almost immediately, because you have people coming from all over renting bicycles, bringing bicycles, need to have them worked on before they get on this trail and take off, and that's going to be something somebody probably going to need to do here. But I'd like to see a good recreation, good playground, and splash pad would be an excellent idea. I know people that from here, young families that will pack up their kids and drive all the way to Gina just to go to that splash pad. So you'll have just the reverse, people coming here, which will help our economy as well. So, but I think recreation should be up there on top of the list,
Okay.
at the top of the list anyway.
All right. All right, anybody got any questions? Ricky, you like to ask him a question? It's something, Ricky, I guess, we have to compile what may be approximate cost. That's something that requires probably some engineering and really a lot of thought.
Definitely.
I think we can certainly consider that. I mean, I think there's enough money there, for sure, but, so, and all these ideas, if anybody has ideas tonight, I hope you just bring them up, and then we'll sit down and we come up with them and finalize the details on them, and then present them again. Everybody say, hey, yeah, let's do that. I think that's the way to go, and let's all work together on getting them done. But that's all good ideas, for sure.
I like the idea of the splash pad. I've always, being a ball background, I always thought it'd be neat to have a splash pad by the playground. kids, because, you know,
That's gonna be the biggest probably issue is where
Yeah,
to put
we
it.
need it accessible, 7 days a week,
that's
I
what I
would
was
think.
thinking, if you had a big playground where that playground is, leave the gate open to get in there, but the ball fields would still be shut off. You couldn't get in there, but you could get to the playground. And you got a big parking lot already there.
Yeah, true. All right, any other questions? All right, Ricky.
All right, well, excuse me, I got a 3-year-old birthday party.
Uh-oh. We'll get,
Joanne, you may have to help me with this. Joanne called me and asked me to check on the Wetumpka, Alabama project that was funded through the couple in Laurel. I don't remember their names, I'm sorry, I didn't come prepared for this. But, theirs was a key farmer's market thing. And they had a beautiful farmer's market, and of course, if that lot, as you come off the bridge, I think the Gregory's may still own it.
to the left,
Yeah, when you come off the bridge. to
Rusty,
the left.
Rusty Fairbanks bought that.
Right. Oh, did he?
Mhm.
Well, anyway, they have a YouTube program on that. Joanne had me write the people, which I did, or email them, then I wrote them. And they said they put Vidalia on the list, but, you know, I haven't heard from them, and I haven't bugged them. I maybe should be bugging them, Joanne, but they have contacted me, and that's, you know, a plus.
That's
But-
HGTV, Ben and Aaron, hometown.
That's right, that's what it is. But I didn't come prepared, I didn't know everything.
You're fine, it's a hometown takeover.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch, because they choose a town, and they take it over, and they rebuild some other buildings, and and they paint, and so you have to enter in that contest. I think the town they chose last time was a town that's about, so that's all they could.
Well, I have a friend that lives in Wetumpka, and she
Yeah.
said that the whole town was involved, and it was wonderful.
Awesome.
She said that it brought more unity to the town than they ever had. So, you know, I guess being on TV and, you know, the national news, that helped.
Okay,
So,
all right. Anybody else from the public?
Mayor, I did have one other thought.
Okay, all right.
I've been thinking about this for a while. You know, when we had the Relay for Life, you know, that every year the weather's bad, we move it over here. Is there a way, because I see a lot of times there's needed extra parking for ball tournaments and stuff. Could we just expand that parking lot out there and have a place for Relay for Life and extra? Well, I guess what I'm saying, blacktop it or concrete or maybe the money could be used for that.
You talking about where all the hookups are now with the?
Yeah, where we had the Relay for Life for, I don't know, a couple of years, I guess, before the weather.
That's, if that's one of the things you want to bring
Yeah, I
up.
mean, I'm just thinking and stuff.
Right. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're here to talk. If you got an idea that you would like to see, like you think would be beneficial to our
I just think that would
towns.
solve two problems there, parking for ball tournaments during the year, plus have a big spot for the Relay for Life.
Now, I think that there's power, is there water at each one of those, hookups?
I don't remember. I just remember it was.
Y'all know it's almost like a little RV park there. It's got all, y'all see
Yeah.
those? Only thing I'd be, it'd be, they'd all start getting run over, I think, if they were a parking lot. We see what this happens to stop signs in Walmart parking lot. You can imagine what happens if you have a, but I mean, it's a good idea. I just don't know what, if
I
that,
mean, instead of it being grass, because I remember during the relay, I was walking, and it's like this.
Yeah.
You know, if you could just go in there and, you know, concrete it, or just make an area designated for Relay for Life.
yeah. Okay.
It's just a thought.
Anybody else from the public? All right, I'm gonna ask some of the aldermen if they wanna submit any ideas. Okay. Well,
One of the things that I'd like to see us do, seeing
some towns, they do a little more with their street signs. Instead of just the little green things, it'd be a little more decorative with the poles and the signs. I think that would add to curb appeal of the city. So I'd like to see us look into doing something with our street signs and making them more ornate.
Okay. That would be something, I guess, could fall in y'all's bailiwick again, as far as, you know, one of the things that we did that when I got in office, Corey, you can always find things, but Mike went through town, he and Frank Doosan, and all of our stop signs, they kind of got more uniform now, to the right height. What's, usually, if you'll notice, straightening signs, and of course, you might find some that might have fell through the crack, or somebody done hit and done some other things with. But if people might not notice that, but there's been a lot of work done on things like that, repainting fire hydrants, just, cleaning up some corners that people just take for granted. That barricade that's at the end of Linden and what's that street that turned, huh?
Riverside?
Well, no, it's at the end of Linden before you go out go get up on the bridge. What's that street, a little short? Is it? No.
The front Young's Chapel.
The one you turn off Martin Luther King to go to Linden, what's that, it's called something, is it Louisiana Avenue? Well, there's a lot of things that we can do. I've even thought of, I don't know if we can do that, but, those bridge pilings, we might could put murals on there, if we could get permission to do those and come up with something. But, I will tell y'all something else as far as these monies go. DA Big Lane Road. We met with Congresswoman Letlow, Julia. She went and toured the denim plant and also Syra, and we talked about some different things we're trying to do with the DA Big Lane, Airport Road, in that area. And Ken Free, who I told y'all was with DOT, they got a road transfer program. State of Louisiana owns more percentage of highway than just about any other state in the United States. They've got a program called the Highway Transfer Program. And what they would do is they will transfer, if a municipality will take on a road that's currently under their jurisdiction, which Logan Sewell Drive is under their jurisdiction, that they would give you monies. If you would take that, they will give you monies, and you can spend that on any road you want to. Now, how that works is, from what I understand is, before they gave you that road and you took it in, they would go in and redo that road, fix that road. It's their highway. They're going to go in and fix it, overlay it, make it nice, and turn it over to you. And they would give you 40 years of maintenance, which would be somewhere close to $2 million to do with what you want to, and you could improve any other road you want. So we could pick up, we would be under the control and maintenance of Logan Sewell Road, but we would get $2 million from the state, or maybe more than that, to go out there and fix that road right. So that's something we're going to talk about. Of course, this is going to require council approval, and I'll be coming to them to do something with that, but that's an option for us to be able to fix that. Plus, I'm still trying to get federal help as well to get that fixed, and looking at some other things. So I hadn't compiled a list of, I guess, y'all were easy, the council was easy, they didn't have any requests tonight. So, if I guess nobody else has any other questions,
I got a question.
Okay.
For education purposes. The money, what are the do's and don'ts with it? Can the schools get some of it, or is the schools off money?
You got to be very careful. These things that we're talking about is community development deals that are enhancing your community, that you can do that. It's kind of, you can do things that improve your community. A direct doing something to a school, I think, is maybe kind of, have to be careful with that.
I was just wondering.
And if you can, if these things that we've talked about today are community development things that I feel like are certain we would be safe on. Because, I mean, just a perfect example, look what the fireworks do. I mean, they bring people from all over. I mean, you're putting that into You know, fireworks, that brings people together, brings commerce, it brings people all in out in town on those nights where you have those, you know, and so you can see what, if we do these things, how it's going to develop your community and make you a better community and place to live, so. But as far as going into a specific school and do it, that's like, for example, I thought some people from the rec board would be here maybe asking for monies to fix nets around the field. To me, could be community, because you're protecting
That really-
all the citizens that come up to these ballparks from getting hit by a ball, maybe
There's
one.
every place that needed nets, it's right over there.
And, you know, I thought maybe, you know, we'd have some of those people here, because that would be community that fits everybody, you know.
Well, I guess the reason it popped in my head was, like, it's a junior high, you know, play football down there and you're practicing in there. You know, it's not a real good practice area, you know, because it stays wet, and I just, if there was something we could do to.
What, put AstroTurf, is that what you, AstroTurf, is that what you asked? I'm kidding with you. But, all right, well, I'm gonna bring my list Thursday, so I'm gonna give y'all, dangle something for y'all to come back and visit with us. All right, if there's no other, any other questions or comments, I'm gonna ask if we can, have a motion to exit our public hearing.
I so move.
Ms. Denby, made the motion, Alderman Smith made the second, all in favor say aye. All right, thank y'all so much, appreciate it. We're adjourned. That was a motion to, oh, I'm sorry.
Adjourn the meeting.
All right, we're not done yet. Do I hear a motion, we adjourn, we exited the public meeting, now do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay, same ones, John
Good
and
enough.
Ms. Rosa? Okay, there we go, we stand adjourned. Thank y'all.